Okay, welcome to the Cruise Beyond Your Vision Board Workshop, Designing the Life That You Desire. It is May, the end of May of 2023, and we are not quite halfway done with the year yet, but I feel like the month from November, from like the holiday season, November and December, we kind of lose that whole month. So I decided to back this up till the end of May just to kick this off so that we can re-energize, reset, revive, and just finish this year off right. So as we come into the summer months, it's typically kind of the time where we're wearing tank tops, we're getting out there, we're getting more active. Some of us just had babies. Congratulations. We might be in seasons of change, whether it be retirement from the military or a position change. This is a really great time to kind of map out the dreams and desires that you have in each area of your life. And when we're in seasons of change, many times it can be very, very overwhelming. And we want to do all the things all at once, right? So this is a great time to really just dissect each area. And we're going to go through the 8 pillars of our life today. So we're going to workshop this. So what do you need right now? First of all, I just need, like, you don't need anything fancy. It can be Post-it notes. It can be like your own whiteboard. It can be a scratch pad. It can be a blank piece of paper. You can have 3x5 cards, whatever it is. This is going to be your rough draft. Okay. So we're not going to come out with like a perfect design here today. We're going to do the messy middle, what I like to call the messy middle. So we're basically going to do all the hard work. And then from there, you can make it come to life. And I know, Sandra, I've seen yours come to life before. Marie, you've been in these workshops before. I've seen yours come to life. So this is kind of like the hard part that we're going to go through together. So with that being said, let's get started. Feel free to engage in the chat. So why do we go through this? So we need to train our brain to be consistently going after the things and the dreams and things that we desire. Okay, so if we're constantly having it in the forefront of our brain, organized, prioritized in a way that feels really good, we can get out of bed each and every day and be like, I got this, let's go, right? And without a plan, without a vision, without a map of your life, a lot of times we can get really stressed, we can get overwhelmed, we can get depressed, we can feel like we're going after the shiny objects and collecting more tools, collecting more things. And it's just like all kind of mumble jumble. And what I like to call spaghetti brain. And when the spaghetti's all like, or you got a jewelry knot, right? All your stuff is like in a big knot and it's like, well, I don't even know where to start. This is a great way to start. So we're going to train our brain to consistently be organized in a fashion to be able to kind of give ourselves some breathing room and not feel so stressed and overwhelmed every day. Okay. So we want to visualize the life that we desire. So today you get a blank slate. Each and every day you get a blank slate. And so hopefully without nothing held back, we're going to open up what could be possible for you. Okay. So right here, right now, I want you to say, I am all in on the possibilities, because you never know what's going to come out. You never know what's going to come off onto that page. And you never know too, what someone else in the room here might bring up that might inspire you. Okay. So utilize the chat, connect in there. I'd love to see that on fire so that I can support you and cheer you on. Now we're going to be together for 2 hours, okay? And this is just scratching the surface. We need a whole heck of a lot more hours in the day. So I'm going to give you a system that has worked for me, that has worked for my husband and I, worked for our family to be able to go after the wild dreams and goals that we have been able to accomplish. And I'll tell you, almost everything on our vision board, everything that we put on there, it happens because we design it, we reflect, and we did some reflection last week, and we looked at our vision board that we started with at the start of this year, and we're like, how are we doing? So this is the time, whether you've done one or not, maybe you didn't do one in the beginning of the year, this is your time to just start from scratch and finish the second half of the year off right. Okay. And so that brings me to my next point. A vision, it doesn't have to be a big, huge dream. Your vision is like literally 6 to 12 months. So you get to decide. Maybe it's 3 months. Maybe it's 6 months. Maybe it's just the next month. Like, what can I accomplish in the next month? Because what happens is when we create too long of a timeline, there isn't enough like instant requirements that we have to put in place, right? And so when we can have like a long-term vision, 6 to 12 months, with some manageable milestones to help us gain some traction and momentum, that's going to breed more motivation and more confidence as you move forward. Okay. So pick a time period for yourself and stick to it. And so, like I said, we want small, actionable items. Okay. So, and it'll make more sense when we go through the system. So before we get started, I want to go over my success model. Now, this is not, I stole this. We love acronyms. For those of you who have been in the military or support the military, you know that we love acronyms. So I have adopted this success model from a beautiful beach like canvas, if you will. And I'll just show it to you because this is above my mirror that I work out to every single day, right? It's a success model. So I look at it every day, and this has been the way that I've been able to embrace life, all the chaotic changes, and still go after my dreams and goals. So we set goals first and foremost. We understand that there's going to be obstacles. So when you're going to go level up, there's going to be something that is going to challenge you. And 99.999999999999999 plus % of the time, it's going to be right before or just as you're about to level up. It's going to be like, are you sure you want that? Or let's just put something else on your plate. Or let's just put you on your butt and give you an injury just before you're about to level up. All right. So sometimes this 99.9999, it always happens. All right. So let's just be real. Once we can embrace it, we can pivot and we can move quicker through it. Okay. And be more problem solvers. So I know you're all great problem solvers and you're resilient. So this isn't something that's new to you. So I want you to create a positive mental picture of what your life really, what you want it really to look like. And for those of you who have used the Crystal Clear Life Planner, right here, I know a couple of you have, yay! In the beginning of this, there's an activity that helps you map out your dream day. So from like waking up to the birds chirping, to your favorite coffee, to where you live, to what your life looks like, to how you greet your children in the morning, to how you talk to your spouse, to what time you go to bed, like design it, create a mental picture of the best day, the best life, because you deserve it. Okay. So then once we design that and you see that picture, like mine is 10 steps from the ocean. It's a beach house. I am like madly more in love with my hunk of a husband. We're still active. We're still loving each other. We're still traveling the world and impacting other people, but we're still living our best lives 10 steps from the ocean. All right. And so as soon as all that stuff creeps in, then our self-doubt comes in as well. It's like, who are you to say that you get to live on the beach? Who are you to like think that you're still going to be in shape 10 years from now? Like, yeah, right. So clear your mind of any self-doubt, because that is your saboteur. Your inner critic is going to start to sabotage yourself when you try to dream. Okay. So it's this like good cop, bad cop inside. No, you're not crazy. Everyone's got it. Okay. So this is what I do as an emotional intelligence coach, is help you clear the self-doubt and that inner critic. So once we kind of navigate those waters, then we need to embrace the challenge and say, all right, I know there's going to be obstacles. I know that my inner critic and my saboteur is going to try to tear me down, but no matter what, I'm going all in. I'm rolling up my sleeves. It's about to go down. So then we embrace the challenge and we take action and we show the world that we can do it. Okay. So this is the model. So that's your success model. Now, I'm not going to share my slides with you. Okay. So you're going to get the recording where you'll see the slides, but I'm not going to send the slides. So feel free to take screenshots. If something resonates with you, please send me a message. I'd be happy to clarify more. Just raise your hand, send me a message, ask clarifying questions in the chat, so that I can support you the best way possible. All right. Welcome back, Timmy. Okay. So, right. So one of the things that I think many times when we think about our big dreams and goals, we think about action items. We think about things that we have to accomplish. It's another tasker. It's something that just has to be done, right? And especially as action oriented or maybe service members or previous service members, we have a checklist and we're like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And we think that sometimes it's going to get us to that next level of success. But what I really want you to think about is the feeling and the emotion that you're going to feel when you accomplish that. So not because we're human beings, we have feelings, we have emotions. Hello, Jen. Welcome to the party. We're just getting the intro started. So we have feelings and emotions. We are not robots. All right. So I really want you to, when you think about, I have this thing that I want to go after, I have this goal, I want you to sink in the emotion around it, not necessarily just the action. All right. And I think this is a little bit different. I believe that this is what makes me unique with the way that I approach the vision board workshop. And there's many ways that there's so many coaches and there's so many people out there doing this work. All right. So I think this is really what sinks it in is the emotion and the feeling, because I want you to go there, because that way we can chase the emotion of that accomplishment. Sandra crossed that finish line of her second half marathon on Sunday, just a couple days ago. And that feeling of just watching both of her arms of like, yes, I did it. Like I have chills, like she brought me to tears, like just that accomplishment, that sense of pride and all the hard work and the obstacles that she had to go through every single step. It was hard. It was grueling. It was painful. And she did it anyway. So those are the emotions, right? It's not like, yeah, I did my second half marathon, like check. No, it's like what I went through, like it's deeper than that. So this is where I want you to go. Okay. So, and allow yourself to go there. All right. So no rules except for a few. I need you to be very clear. I need you to be specific. And I want you to visualize and feel how you want to feel when you accomplish these things. All right. And try to kick out that inner critic. So, but recognize when that inner critic starts to creep in, where it's coming from. So you want to be on stage. You want to write your next book. Maybe you want to write your first book. Maybe you want to start a podcast. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to go after that next promotion. Jen, congratulations. This company just created a position for her. So like insert all the celebrations, but also there's probably some inner critics coming in there because she's starting a new role. Like it's scary. Hey, Marie, brand new mama. Like there's no book that is going to tell you all the things, right? It's scary. Like there's things like Tammy, like you're going through a season of change too, like transition in your jobs, like it's scary. So all of that inner critic is going to come in, but you get to redesign and we're all in this together. So welcome to the party. So before we go after our dreams and goals and we set more milestones for ourselves, I want us to think about, let's really reflect. What have you been able to accomplish this year? Let's focus on the good stuff. Let's hunt the good stuff of some of the things that maybe didn't make your New Year's resolutions. Like who would have thought that you would be in this season right now that you're in? I want you to start to sink in, and I would love to see some comments in the chat. Like, what have you accomplished this year? Hi, congratulations. What have you been able to accomplish? Did you push out a baby? Yes. Hello. That's a huge accomplishment. All right. Did you get a new job? Did you go after some, did you invest in yourself? I know Sandra and Jen came to the retreat in Costa Rica. Tammy came last year. She took a chance on herself last year. She has stayed alive. Yes. Thank you, Tammy. That is something to be proud of. All right. So think about it. What have been the lessons? What have you accomplished? Let's think about the things that we have accomplished, not so much what we have left to accomplish. And I use this a lot in marathon training, the mindset of the recognizing how far you've come. Like, I run 7 miles. I got 7 miles done. Not, I have, 6 more to go before I'm done with my half marathon. Oh, I have 6 more to go. It's like, no, I completed 7. Right? It's a different mindset. It's a shift. All right. So do that with your life, do that with your goals, and see how that energy shifts. So it's open for more possibilities. All right. Think about powerful I am statements. You have accomplished things. You are in a season of change. You are powerful. You are courageous. You are here. You're worthy. You're alive. You're healthy. Cheryl's out there doing her steps, right? So think about what are some powerful words that you can really wrap your head around before we go into this next section. And then also start to think about, do you have a theme for the year? Do you have a word or a theme that you'd like to focus on? Or maybe something that you've been focusing on? Does that word still resonate with you? For me, I had CEO. I'm a CEO of my business. I am no longer an employee of my business. All right. So for me, CEO, like, I'm having next level conversations to be able to level up in my business, to level up in my life, to ask for more help, to get coached, to get mentored, to really just scale more. And so that's taken a CEO mindset. So I need to be consistent. I need to execute. And I need to be open for opportunities, and even the ones that don't look like what I think they look like. So that for me has been like a guiding light for this year. And I'm going to stay strong to that towards to the end of the year. So what is yours? Start to think about it. All right. So now we're going to get into the meat and taters, which I'm excited for after this. I haven't eaten dinner yet. So I'm hoping my husband has meat and taters. So waiting for me. So the pillars of your life. 8 pillars of your life. So this is what we're going to map out. So I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions in each area of your life. So if you were to think about your pillars of your life as buckets, or maybe it's a big wheel, right? If you were to score yourself or assess yourself in each of these areas of your life, it's amazing what could come out of it. Because if you were to think about, like, I don't know if it was the 7 dwarfs where you had all these buckets and they were like, dun, 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 and they're walking and all the water's swishing, right? That's us every day trying to remain balanced. What the heck is balance, right? So we want to remain balanced in each of these pillars of our life. And so right now we're just going to unpeel and take it one step at a time. All right. And then we're going to start to see where maybe we might need to add a little bit of water. We might need to sprinkle a little extra leaven. All right. So, and not every single pillar, not every single bucket is going to be 100% equal at any given time. All right. So I want to share with you that even myself, I've been doing this a long time. Not all 8 look alike. And it's really easy for us to put some blame and shame and guilt around this process. So I want you to cut that out right now. Make a deal with yourself, make a pact that as you go through these, we're not going to have any blame, no shame, no guilt, no, none of that. We're here to collect some data and just do a quick assessment. All right. So that we can really see where we might need to pay a little bit more attention in each of these areas of our life. Because what I have found is when one of these pillars or one of these buckets is empty, it's going to seep into every other area of your life. Okay. So if we're feeling like we got some dry areas or we need some real work there, it's going to start bleed in if you haven't recognized it already. So take any one of these. Spirituality, take your finances. Finances is like glaring. It's always the one that is like, if your finances aren't in check or if you're feeling a little funky in that area, everything else will be affected. It will be impacted. Same thing with your health and fitness, right? So we're going to start there with health and fitness. As you know, I'm a life and fitness coach, all of you. So you've all been in my world. So I know, Cheryl, you've been following me for a while, but if you have questions, please let me know. All right, so these are the 4 questions. So feel free to take a screenshot, jot them down, because as we go through each of the 8 pillars of our life, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions. Okay. But I'm going to give you I'm going to share some of my stories. I'm going to give you some things that I think about, and maybe to help give you some ideas to start to get the juices flowing for you. Okay. But these are going to be the same 4 questions. So this is my system, and this is what I've been able to utilize over the last couple years. My husband and I started doing this during COVID, and we're like, we need a plan, because I was in a season of change in my business. We have moved 4 times in the last almost 6 years. We had just moved to Pittsburgh. He was working 60, 70 hours a week. I was trying to build my business, and then COVID happened. And it was crazy. It was chaotic. And so I'm like, we need a system. We need to be able to communicate, and we need to have plans and goals and some things to look forward to. Gosh darn it. I almost said it like, it's like, we were so like disjointed. And I'm going to show you what the 2020 vision board looked like. I actually have a picture of it. So we're going to score ourselves. So some examples, what you could do to map this out right now. I just want you to like literally take one pillar and create a page or a post-it note or something to jot notes on so that you can section this off and then go back to it and personalize it. So you can have pretty pictures, you can have words, you can get creative with it. You can use PowerPoint. There's apps. I actually have a template if you want to have a screenshot on your phone. Those are great too. But the one here in the middle was literally our vision for 2020. All right. So I literally mapped it out just like this, and it's messy. And this was on our refrigerator, and it still is to this day. Right. So this is like a cheapo whiteboard magnet that we bought, and we reflect. So we've evolved over time. Everything is black here. But now we have different colored markers. So the black is the couple's goals, and then I have a red for my goals, and then he has blue for his goals. And so each of these buckets have evolved over time. But so just to give you some ideas to do this with your family or your partner, or maybe a business partner, it's a great way to have next level conversations. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I literally just scribbled it out, and we set some goals, and we talked about it, and we reflect all the time on it. So we're going to get started with health and fitness. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you in this area? So 10 being the happiest you are in this area, and 1 being the least happy you are in this area. Okay. So when you think about health and fitness, think about your not just physical movement, but your nutrition, your sleep, your hydration, right? Start to think about, what does your daily routine look like? Do you meal prep, right? So what's your nutrition look like? How's your sugar intake? How's your alcohol intake, right? Are we going to bed at a decent time? Is it consistent? Right? So start to think about those things when you think about health and wellness. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? Now, this is no blame, no shame. Just go from the gut. How you feeling right now, right? With this reflection and this assessment, we're going to be able to have data to be able to move forward and prioritize and really map this out. So once we're done in about an hour with all 8 of these pillars, we're going to have some manageable goals to be able to move forward. All right. So this is what this is all about. So be as honest as possible. And we can always go back to it. So what I want you to do is think about, what is one desire? All right. So I want you to you can pick like 7, but I want you to think about really just one. What's one thing you can work on? All right. Maybe you have a list of 3 things that you want to really focus on. Maybe you want to reduce sugar. Maybe you want to increase your daily workouts. Side note, if you need help with that, I have the Cruise Beyond Limits virtual HIIT camp. We do 30-minute sessions, including warm up and cool down. A couple of you are in that program already, but it is that can help you really stay consistent in a great community. So is it your workouts? Is it your sleep? Is it your nutrition? Is it your hydration? What's one thing you think you can focus on to improve in this area of your life? And then start to think about, okay, when I do that, now think about your timeline too. So from, if you did, maybe you determine 3 months, is it 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? What is your timeline that you decided before we started? So make sure it's consistent across all pillars. So if you decided 6 months, then like let's stick to the 6 months for each category, so we can make sure that they're manageable goals in each one, if that makes sense. So think about the emotion. If you went to sleep every night at 10 o'clock and you woke up at 5 or 6, you're going to get a decent, good night's sleep. You're going to feel refreshed. You're going to feel probably a little bit more energetic, more clear, more focused, more confident, because you're setting yourself the next day up for success instead of scrolling Instagram till 1 a.m. Or some people play video games, or we watch TV, or we fall asleep on the couch. Like these inconsistencies, you'd be very surprised with those just small movements can breed huge results. Okay. So then now that we have this desire, maybe it's sleep, maybe it's hydration, maybe it's movement, maybe it's your nutrition. What's one thing you can do? What's one action you can do in the next, I would say 7 days? What's one thing you can do to get you just that much closer to achieving that dream and goal? Because the universe, God, loves speed. All right. So whatever you believe in, like we need to create some action, right? So what's one small thing? And that one small thing can be www.google.com. It could be like, I'm going to research something, or Bing, or whatever, hashtag not an ad. I'm going to go on Amazon and, and order meal prep containers, like awesome meal prep containers, whatever that is. I'm going to get new running shoes, and I'm going to contact Crystal for whatever that is. Okay. Figure out one small thing that you can do, one small action in this area of your life. Okay. So nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I am possible. So this picture, for those of you who have not taken this class before, this workshop, this was at a business conference, one of my first business conferences. It was for veteran entrepreneurs called VWise. And and this is before I was visible on social media. I was deathly afraid. I actually cried to my first business coach that I was so afraid. She's like, you have to go live on social media. You can't keep posting other people's quotes and memes and pretty pictures. Like, you have a message, you have to share it. And I was like, no, what are they going to think of me? What are they going to I can't do that. And this was an award that I won at this business conference. I won a social media contest, which said you had to share on social media your experience with the business conference. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm stepping outside my comfort zone. So I took action, and I was one of like 12 people that did it. Not a lot of people did the contest. So it wasn't like it was wasn't that much competition. But I, for the first time, went on Instagram and I shared an experience, and I shared my own thoughts and dreams, and I ended up winning this contest. This is like a roller. It's like a lawn game. I've never used it. It's in storage, But that moment, I'll never forget, like, holy crap, I actually took action. Someone told me to share this event and the thoughts that I had about it. And I'm like, I have my own thoughts. I went and took action and ended up on stage and I was like, oh crap, this is actually a thing. It was scary, but I did it. So it's possible. Small actions. And it was just one post. So the next pillar of our life that we want to go through is your career and your work, or maybe your business if you own a business. So think about your career and your life's work, or maybe it's a dream that you have for your next version of your career or your life's work. All right. So really start to dream here. Really start to plan this out. What brings you joy? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you in this area of your life? And I know some of you have shared some of your stories with me. Feel free to share anything to your comfort in the chat. Perhaps there's someone in this room that might be able to support you, cheer you on, connect you. You never know what could be possible. So, score yourself without judgment, no blame, no shame, no guilt. Think about, what is your top desire? You get to design it. Blank slate, blank page. So what would you desire in this area of your life? Is it freedom? Is it flexibility? For me, I'm like, I love to coach. I love to travel. I need to create a business that I can move around and be anywhere. I could be on a beach. I could be in a hotel room. I could be here in Louisville, Kentucky. I could be on a stage, giving a keynote speech and still have my business move. And that is the dream and desire that I have for my business, and have amazing, incredible coaches that support me and a team that supports me, and travel all over to put it all together. My love for travel, my love for coaching, my love for community, my love for fitness, my love for emotional intelligence. For so long, people told me, oh, you can't have one without the other, and you got to separate them, and there's no way you can do all of that and really feel like you're never working. So you get to, and this is your time, especially if you're in a season of change. Like, let's get creative. So what's your top desire? And how would that desire make you feel? And perhaps you're in a season right now where you need to collect a paycheck, right? So your passion project can be something completely different than what's giving you a paycheck right now. So you can use your current situation, your current job, to fund your passion project, right? So allow yourself to go to that passion project. You deserve it. You're worthy. So go there. Okay. We just got to figure out, okay, how can we still work that passion project that's going to fuel you on fire while still making sure that our safety net and our finances are in check, because we're going to go through our finances later. So it's that top desire. How would it make you feel? So think about the impact and the effects that it's going to have on your mental health, on your physical health, maybe on your family, your relationships, your finances. How would that make you feel when you accomplish these things? And let's find one small action. What's one thing you can do just to get you that much closer? And I want to caution you with this, because a lot of times what happens, especially with women that I work with, is it's like, I have to get another certification. I'm not quite there yet. I have to get another thing. I have to go to another class. I have to wait until this is. You have a lot of experience. All of you do. I know each and every one of you does in this room. So there is an option. There's always an option for you to say, what can I do right now with what I've got to be able to take small action? And it might not be like what you envision of, like you yourself on that pedestal, in the ultimate dream and desire. But let's see, like, what can we do to take some small actions right now, where it's like, you can start earning money in your passion project right now if you got creative, if you connected with the right people, if you said it out loud what you really want to accomplish. Okay. So I'm going to pause there and take a sip of water. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So feel free to share your comments, share your reflections in the chat. Remember, when we put it out to the world, it's more possible. And this is a safe space. Everyone is welcome. What happens in this room stays in this room, just like Vegas. So next one is your relationships. Side note, I'll be going back to Vegas a couple times this year. So if anybody's in the Vegas area or wants to go to Vegas, let me know. Okay, so relationships. Now, scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you in this area of your life? Now, with relationships, I want you to think not only the relationships of maybe your partner, your children, your spouse, your roommate, your business partners, your friends, but also think about the relationship that you have with yourself, that ultimate self-love. How are we in this area of our life in relationships? Because we need to be dating ourselves, ladies. Like, take yourself on a date, celebrate the heck out of yourself, take yourself on vacation, treat yourself. And so this is what I love to do. The best thing that happens with my clients is like, I am falling in love with myself again. And then other people love me too, more because of it. And that is so beautiful. So I want you to really consider that self-love as well as your spouse and your children. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you in this area? And if you have to segment it out, some of you are very structured, so I get it. So if you have to be like self-love, relationship assessment, and then the other people relationship assessment, that's totally cool. Okay, I'm giving you a structure just to help you, but you get to design your own rules. Okay, so you figured you get to do what you like in this area. So top desire for this area of your life. Is it communication, improved communication? Maybe it's thinking about your love languages. Maybe it's more physical touch, or like which areas of your life in your relationships can we go after? Is it more date nights with yourself or others? Is it more one-on-one time, perhaps with your children? Do you have multiple children? Do we need to maybe have separate alone time with each one of them so that they feel special in the way that they want to? So start to think about that. As always, we want to think about the emotion, right? So when we can really achieve this ultimate goal, whether it be self-love or love, ultimate open communication and honesty and trust and love in your business relationship or in your household, or maybe with friends or your sister, for instance. Maybe you've never told your sister how you really feel, and really setting some boundaries and being open and honest in that communication. If you were to do that, how would that make you feel? Or maybe you have some toxic relationships that we need to say sayonara to. Side note, we really take a deep dive into relationships in the $1 Million Body Academy, which is my 6-month mastermind program. I know Jen and Sandra, you're joining the next one. Like, we're starting in a couple weeks. So it is a cohort-based 6-month holistic approach to a ultimate self-love experience. And so we dive into your emotional intelligence, your personality style, your love language, your healthy habits, your nutrition, your fitness. So the fitness is included. So then we go through your confidence. We build confidence. We deep dive into all of your relationships. And then we go through boundaries as well. So we start that on June 12th. The next 6-month cohort is June 12th. And we finish just before the holidays, November 13th. So it's a really great time to take a deep dive in a beautiful supportive group. So if you're interested, please send me a message. I'm not going to go through the whole program here, but if it resonates with you and this area of your life you really want to work on, this is your time. So please, let's talk about it. So maybe that's one action that you can take, one small action. is to say, you know what, I really want to take a deep dive into the relationship I have with myself and the people around me so that I don't have so much conflict. And I can understand my emotions and how I show up in the world and how I interact with other people because life is hard and all these obstacles and personalities. This is going to help you understand everyone in your life and be like, ah, it's a whole nother ball game when you come out of this program. So, but if you don't do that program, I highly recommend take a deep dive into your emotional intelligence. Figure out what your love language is. Think about what your personality type is and start there. It's a great place to start. There's plenty of free resources out there as well. So, and if you need help and support, even just that one action is just, hey, let's book a call after this. And I'd be happy to map it out and give you some options. All right, so this is my favorite marathon here. If you can dream it, you can do it. This is my favorite marathon in Jamaica. It finished right on the beach, and they gave me a red stripe and a raw sugar cane stalk. It was freaking incredible. But this is, if you see that face, you see that feeling, you can see the joy and the excitement. This was my worst marathon time ever. My worst. But it was also the most happy, the most, not the most happy. Though actually I wasn't very happy at that time. I was single. I was kind of a hot mess, to be honest. I had my body in check, as you can see. My abs were in check. My running was, I was healthy, physically, but mentally, I wasn't. But that feeling of that emotion of just being on the beach, doing what I love, traveling, going after it, this is that moment. So every time I finish a race, this is the moment I think of like, yes, I did it, right? And I've achieved it. And so like thinking, really sinking in, finishing something 100,000 times before I've completed it. So when I'm on stage, when I launched my book, I had a book launch for my Crystal Clear Life Planner. I literally envisioned what that speech was going to be the day that I launched. I went through a rigorous 6-month process to launch that book. I had to fire my coach 2 days before the launch date. It was traumatic. It was rough. That's a whole nother story. But I envisioned it and I put myself in that space when it mattered. And so when it happened, especially too with the retreat, I host retreats now in Costa Rica at the top of the mountain, and some of you have joined me there. So you know this feeling of that accomplishment when you see me on the top of that mountain, you've experienced this beautiful journey that I created. When I'm there at that center seat on that top of that mountain, I'm like, those are the moments. That's what I work towards. So we have another one coming up in September, and every single day is difficult leading up to it. There's a lot of logistics, there's challenges. I gotta, there's a lot that goes into it. And so it's like this overwhelming, but it's that emotion, it's that look, it's that feeling of just sitting in it when it matters. And so everyone always asks me, Crystal, how do you keep going? How are you so disciplined? How are you able to navigate all these hard things and fire people and have all these difficult, challenges come up and illness, and you just keep going? It's like Grace. And like, it's the emotion. I dream it and I visualize it. And I'm just, it's a dialed in, it's a laser focus. And so this is what I want for you. So I'm going to take a moment. Has anyone heard of Trent Shelton? Okay. Yes. Some of you have taken this before. So this is a really powerful video. So I'm going to have, he says it way better than me. Someday, I actually was like 20 feet from Trent Shelton. He was in his like blacked out Suburban, leaving the Rise conference from Rachel Hollis. I was like going through the parking lot and I was this close to meeting him. Someday I will be in a room. I will probably share a stage with him. And no, I will share a stage with him. I will be in the room. And someday I will be like, you literally changed my life. And so this is his message. So I'd love to hear your comments and reflections as I play this video. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear.
I just got a question for you. A question that changed my life. A question that made me step up to the plate. A question that made me be everything that I was created to be. And that question I want to ask you is this: why not you? I know we always ask, why me? Why has this happened to me? Why do I have to go through all this? Why is all these things leaving my life? All this struggle coming in my life? Why not you? Why not you be the one to take all that struggle, all that pain, all that loss, and build that into strength? Build that into something special. Build that into greatness. Why not you be the one out of your family that does something incredible with their life? Why not you be the one that comes from your city and your neighborhood that takes their life to a level only people dream of going? Why not you be the one to make it, to start that business, to do the impossible, to do what people don't even think that anybody could do? Why can't it be you? You know, what I'm doing today with my life and with rehab time is the impossible for a lot of people. At one point, it was the impossible for myself. But one day I woke up and said, why not me? I said, forget my imperfections, forget all these negative things that are going on in my life, forget the negative thoughts that are going on in my mind. I said, you know what? I'm going to conquer my struggle. I'm going to step up and I'm going to be that person that I know deep down inside I could be. And I started saying, it's on me. So you watching this video right now, it's on you. You can be the one. You can be the one that gives people hope. You can be the one that people look up to. You can be the one to show people that it is possible, to show people that it is achievable, to show people there is a next level. Make that be you. You be the one. You hear me? Stop sleeping on your life. Stop pressing snooze. Stop doubting yourself. Stop waiting till the perfect time to do something, and go be the one. Why not you? Like I said in every single video, it all starts with you. It's rehab time. Let's get it.
What do you think? Why not me? Yes. Anything else, Anne-Marie?
I was going to say, I think it speaks a lot to like stop envying other people's achievements and start just like building them for yourself.
Yes. Thank you. It's so easy to compare, right? Anyone else care to share?
I don't know. I think it's like stop feeling like don't feel sorry for yourself. Like you can still, with what you've been given and what you're going through, you can still achieve greatness. You can still achieve your purpose no matter what. So yeah, this may have happened to me. Okay, whatever. Let me move on and let me go ahead and achieve my goals.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else care to share before we move on? Okay. Well, feel free to continue your reflections in the chat. We're going to move on to the quality of life or your reputation. Okay, so this one tends to be interesting. So I think coming out of that video from Trent is like, why not you? You can be the one. You can be a role model, right? And so when you think about your quality of life, I want you to think about the ripple effect of your leadership, of you showing up and going after your dreams and goals, right? And so often in my programs, and I'm sure many of you have heard me say this before, is like, when you show up powerfully, you get to show others what's possible, right? I show up consistently every single day, no matter what. Are there days that I don't want to? Heck yes. Was today one of those? Heck yes. I literally napped twice today. I've been exhausted. I traveled all weekend. I've traveled for the last month, but I am consistent and I show up every single day, no matter what, because I know that consistency is going to breed results, and people need to hear the message. People need me at 100%. And so that ripple effect, that is what, like, people know, like, she's going to show up, she's going to be there tomorrow, like, it's going to happen no matter what. She might not have it all together, she might be like, 2 hours of sleep, but she's going to be there. Right. And so that's been powerful. So think about your quality of life and your reputation. What are you known for? All right. Are you known for your energy? Are you known for your love? Are you known for your compassion? When you leave this earth and when you leave the room, how do people talk about you? What do they say about you? What is the impact and the legacy that you're leaving? And if you're not sure what that is yet, I highly recommend you send a message to a couple people in your life and say, what about me inspires you? And see what comes back and see what themes happen, because that can give you a good indicator of your part of your passion and part of your purpose, the impact that you're making. So this isn't always about like the white picket fence and that mansion and like that fancy car that you want. If that's what, or the red bottom shoes, if that's what you want, awesome. That can be part of your quality of life. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you in this area? This can be quality of life of things, tangible things, or it can be intangible things such as your impact and your legacy and the feelings and the emotions that you leave on others, right? I build community, a supportive, inclusive community, and I'm empathetic and I listen and I ignite people's fire, and I am energetic and I am loving and I am kind. And that's the impact and I'm consistent. I'm enthusiastic. I'm like, that's the impact that I want to make. So I know that I'm aligned with that every single day of my life. This is how I show up. This is my brand. This is my being. You are a brand, whether you have a business or not. You have a personal brand that people buy into or don't. So your energy, your legacy, that is the impact, right? So we have to be intentional. So what's your top desire for this category? How do you want to be known? Maybe this is a good time to reflect. Are you living in that intention of how you want, what legacy you want to leave? Do you want people to feel inspired? Or do you want to create more negativity in your world? Over the last couple of days, I went home back to my hometown. I was witnessing some negativity, some people that are just like, there is nothing positive that they can say. That energy is like, oh, it's gut wrenching. And we don't want to hang around with those people. At least I don't. It sucks the energy. As I call them, the Hoover vacuums. There's like, it could be sunny and beautiful and they'll find one cloud in the sky, right? So think about it. What's your top desire for this category, for this area of your life? Your legacy. Maybe it's the next chapter of your life. Maybe it's how you want to impact your new daughter, Amory. What is that legacy? What is that impact? What do you want her to live her life through? Like, what dreams and desires? What value sets? What do you want to pass on to her? Right? So start to think about this. And how would achieving this make you feel? Like, I'm a bonus mom. I love being a bonus mom. I love being a niece. I have 2 nieces. I love being an aunt. I love being the cool aunt that imparts wisdom and a little bit of tough love when it's needed. And then I'm gone. Like, I travel. My life just hasn't supported me having babies of my own. But I know that my legacy is the Cruise Beyond Limits way. It's the message. It's the self-love. It's the impact. It's the ripple effect of leadership. And I know that my stepdaughter, my nieces are going to grow into this business, that are going to grow into this lifestyle, and they're going to learn these principles. And that to me is so beautiful. And the fact that I have women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s. I have 2 women in their 70s that are in my program. They're like, where the heck were you when I was in college? Why didn't I have these tools earlier on? And so this is so important. So what legacy can you leave? And how will this make you feel? And what's one action? What's one small step that you can take? In the Crystal Clear Life Planner, if you're using it, there's a prompt in there every morning that says, who can you make smile today? You don't need to buy my planner to do that, but you can be intentional and say, who can I make smile today? Who can I, and if you need, if you want to connect with Tammy actually has an amazing sticker business that says you matter. She gives stickers out and she improves people's lives every single day. Thank you, Jennifer. So great to see you. I will post the replay as soon as possible. You'll see that in your email. So how can you just take small things to help impact other people's lives or achieve your legacy, or just one small thing? Sandra has Nikki, an amazing dog, that a service dog that she walks around. We were in the Buffalo Marathon doing the packet pickup. They're like, is that Nikki? Like, she's famous, right? She's been able to impact so many people's lives and put a smile on their face. So maybe it's a sticker that you wear. Maybe it's a pen that you carry. Maybe it's your energy that you walk around with. Maybe it's an intention of doing handwritten notes or gratitude cards, or leaving a note on someone's windshield, or sending flowers to a stranger, or buying coffee. Like, there's so many things that you can do to fill this cup. Okay, so Jennifer said she had to go for her son's volleyball game. So she's going to watch the rest of the recording. So she said goodbye. Okay, so the next one is social life and leisure. Speaking of which, social life and leisure. Do you play sports? Did you used to play sports? Did you used to knit or play bunco or canasta, or like, what did you like that you can bring back into your world that's going to bring you joy? All right, what social activities, what leisure activities? Maybe it's hiking, traveling, maybe it's going out to dinner with your girlfriends, maybe it's going to networking events. How can you implement a more improved next level version of your social life or leisure activities that don't include your children? This is about you. So I know Amory is a new mama. Maybe you can hear from some of the other mamas that, like, it's tough, right? It's hard, but you deserve it. You deserve that time too, right? So carving it out. And this is what we really go through too in the $1 Million Body Academy, is working on the boundaries and asking for help and the worthiness of, like, yes, I get this time too, right? Because the legacy that we want a better future for our children. And so we need to be that role model and show them what's possible, how to be, how to create a independent woman, young woman, children. Sandra has 2 daughters. Like, how are you raising your daughters to stand up for themselves, to go after their dreams and goals and prioritize? And, it's by you showing them and dedicating that time and investing that time and energy in yourself, right? So it's just a shift of perspective. So this is your time to say, like, all right, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are we in this area? When was the last time you did something for you, something that brought you a smile to your face, not everyone else's? Because when you put that smile on your face, it's going to put more smiles on everyone else's, because you're going to be happier. It's really, really hard to it's really, really easy to get sucked in to, whether it be your business or your family or children or other people, maybe caretaking, other people's priorities, the email list. It is so easy for us to take a back burner. So it's important to be intentional with this area. So what could you do? What's your top desire? And maybe create a new standard for your life. I know one of the things that my husband and I have implemented is a personal trip away, just whether it be like a day where, we do a staycation. That's something that we've been talking about. Like I go on a vacation or I stay in a hotel or I go to a conference or something by myself, and he does the same. He's going to DC at the end of this month. I'm going to Chicago. We're going two separate spaces alone. And we're elevating in our own spaces. And then we come back together stronger. So how would achieving this make you feel? Start to think about the emotions. And what's one small action you think you can take? Doesn't have to be big, right? And maybe it's just like locking yourself in the bedroom or in the bathroom and pretending you got to go number 2 for like 10 minutes and say, leave me alone, or maybe we're turning off notifications on our phone, right? And setting that time for yourself so that you can enjoy the things that you love and that are going to put a smile on your face. Or maybe you get out for that walk or that run. Or maybe you meet up with a friend or a neighbor. Powerful things. Tammy, I see you unmuted. Oh, okay. Did you have something? Okay, I think she just might have touched the button. Okay, so we're going to move on, and feel free if you need me to go back to one area and maybe give you some help and pointers. We're almost done. So we're going to go through spirituality first, and then feel free. I can go back to any of the categories if you like. So under spirituality, I recognize that not everyone believes in God or a higher power. So whatever this means for you, if it's God, is it the universe, your spirituality is something that's bigger than you. And so if, maybe God doesn't resonate with you, if it's not the church, maybe it's a core value of yours. So revisiting your values perhaps is a great way to think about your spirituality. And a little story for those of you who don't know, like my husband and I, we didn't grow, like he grew up in the church, in like a cult like church, and I didn't grow up in the church. So spirit, like God and reading the Bible wasn't a thing for me. So as an adult, I've kind of struggled with, with my relationship with God. And I didn't really know what it looked like. And I dated a guy before that was Roman Catholic, and it was like really strict and up, down, sit up, stand up, sit down. And like, no one ever taught me. And I just had to like fall in line and look pretty and go to church and on Sunday and just do what they did. And I'm like, I'm just wasting time because I don't get it. And so later on in life, my husband and I came together. He's in the military. So we came together on our core values because we didn't have a relationship with God. And so we really kind of were like, okay, we have military core values that guide our life. And, we have work ethic and, we're leaders and we just want to help others and serve something bigger than ourselves through our service to our country. And so that was our guiding light for our spiritual journey. And what we found is later on, as we dissected and we put our daughter in private school, and one of the first things she asked was, we did it during COVID. And one of the first things she asked is like, what, Debbie, Crystal, why don't you guys go to church? And we were like, oh. And so we started to really research this, and we are like, why don't we? And, we started to kind of have this conversation. And then we found a church that we have enjoyed that has helped us kind of navigate these waters. But I share that story to say, like, if you're not there yet, that's okay. No judgment, no blame, no shame, no guilt. It's just, hey, like, what can you wrap your head around that's bigger than you? So there's that way we have some sort of a North Star when things get hard, something to lean on for support, right? And something that you can be, concrete in, like, this is my standard for my life. So whether it be God, your relationship with God, the universe, anything that you believe in, or maybe it's your core values, on a score of 1 to 10, how happy are you in this area of your life? How intentional are you in this area of your life? And what would be a top desire? So for instance, for us now, when we are home, we have a standard that we physically go into church. Even if we're tired, even if we don't want to, it's a 30-minute drive, but it's our home, it's our new home, and it helps us be intentional with our relationship with God and our community. Right? So when we're home, we have a no excuse mentality. We go to church. And when we're not home, we stream it. So it streams online. So that's our desire, and we feel more connected. And then we talk about it together. So we actually have a system that we actually go to church and then we go to brunch. We find a different restaurant that we go to afterwards, and no phones. We just talk about the message, and then we talk about how we're going to implement it into our life. So those are just some thoughts. I'm just sharing our story and how we've been able to use this vision board to be able to have these types of conversations. And it has connected us on such a deeper level. And it has been really powerful for a relationship. So what's one small action? Maybe it's stream it online, or, if you need to find a better, a place that you can feel really good at, about attending and being around in a community of supported people, on your spiritual journey, or that have like values as you, that could be one small step. Remember, it can be www.google.com. It can be just, hey, phone a friend. Hey, I know some people in my life that literally they do prayer circles, they host events, they're way better at this than me. So I surround myself with those people, right? And so that can be like, hey, I want to reach out and ask some questions. It can be that simple. Or it could be like, I have Jesus calling. So this is another great start. If you believe in God and Jesus, this is a daily practice where it just literally gives you a passage to read every morning and every evening as the lights turn out. And it helps you just think about how the scripture plays into your life. So that can be one small thing that you do, one small action. Just the thought. All right. So be faithful to what exists within you. So have faith, have hope, dream the dreams, and go after them, right? And so a lot of times that inner critic can creep in. We go after those dreams and goals. All right, I need you to have faith in yourself, trust in yourself, and then faith in the people around you, and your higher power, what you're going after, the design that you're the design of your life right now, that you have all the tools, you have what it takes. And the more that you put this into play and the more actions you take, the more momentum that is going to come. And then the more trust and the more faith that's going to come, because you're going to keep this momentum. And you don't have to do it alone. So speaking of which, personal development is next. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, personal development, how are you being a student of where you're going in your life? The dreams and desires. Hi, Cheryl. Did you have something?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it was a mistake.
No, it's okay. No worries.
Yes, all right.
We love technology. It's okay. No, it's all right. All right. So personal development. So this can mean, how are you learning about yourself? We talked about, earlier, the relationship that you have with yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, are you a student in your business? Maybe it's in your career. How are you developing yourself personally? This could be maybe reading books, listening to podcasts. Every single day I write in my habit tracker. I have a free habit tracker. If you don't have the habit tracker, I write every single day. I'm going to read for 10 minutes. So that can be an audiobook. It can be a physical book. It could be a podcast. So I just set the timer for 10 minutes. Do a do not disturb. I go out for a walk. I'll do it while I'm running, perhaps. So that's part of my personal development. We'll start to think about, what's your top desire? Do you want to read a book a month? Or maybe it's a book a week, or do you want to go to a retreat or a conference, a personal development conference? to get curious about what that next level you looks like. And I'll tell you, those of you that are in the personal development space, it is a next level conversation. It's a next level awakening and awareness. And because you're here, guess what? You're on a personal development journey already. So congratulations. You're investing time in yourself. You're investing your resources in yourself. I used to do this for free, this workshop for free. And when you invest even the $30 that you paid for this workshop, it is an energy exchange. It's an investment in you. And you're more apt to show up, and you put it on your calendar, you show up, and you make the time. And we make the time for the things that we prioritize, right? And so personal development is part of it. And a lot of times that takes the back seat because life happens. Okay, so think about what areas, what can you do in this area of your life to be like, all right, maybe you want to start a business. How can you further develop your skills in that area? Maybe you want to be a public speaker. Maybe you have a message that you need to get out or a book that you need to get out. So it's going to take some personal development, which means we got to look in the mirror. We have to get around other people that are doing the dang things that we want to do. We have to get in different rooms. We have to have different conversations. We have to get outside our comfort zone. And that's how we're going to grow. That's how we're going to learn. Right? So think about when you achieve this thing, this next thing, how are you going to feel? Right? I think about the conferences. Like I literally went to Vegas. I'll tell you a quick story. I was in Vegas last couple weeks ago with my husband for 10 days. And literally 3 days towards the end, I was like, I've had enough of pool parties. I had a killer tan. I was like, I don't want to sit around a pool again all day while my husband's at work. So I went on Facebook and I looked for networking events. And I was like, I have a couple days left in this hotel room. I don't want to spend all day in the hotel. Let me look for a network. I found a power luncheon. It was a 2-hour luncheon workshop for a business workshop. And I met this guy who runs a national business summit. And by the end of the workshop, he's like, you need to come to Chicago with me. Oh, and by the way, you're going to be on my stage. So, and I'm going back to Vegas again in December to be on that stage again as well. So now I'm in a community of people personally developing my business, my network, also my public speaking. I'm going to be on stage. He literally knew me for less than 2 hours. And he's like, I'm adding you to the list. You're going to be on the expert panel. Oh, and by the way, I'm giving you 4 tickets. So if you know of anybody, I'm giving you 4 tickets to come as your guests. So if anybody's free, at the end of June, it's June 24th. It's literally coming up. So you never know what's possible just by taking small actions and by opening yourself up to to possibilities. And this is a relationship that who knows where it's going to go and what doors it's going to open, but it's huge. And we actually had breakfast the next day. I was like, we ended up having a breakfast meeting, and he dissected my website. He gave me feedback on my offering, all of my programs, pricing. This guy, he literally charges like $10,000 for a day of coaching with him, business coach, very, very successful man, private jet, all the things. So just saying, you never know, just by doing www.google.com or looking for an opportunity, you never know. So, but that's all part of personal development, reaching outside and saying like, okay, what else is out there? It's powerful. So I want you to give yourself credit for being here tonight. Ding, ding. Okay. Because the brain's going to keep track. When you're in a personal development journey, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be challenging because we're unpeeling layers of ourselves that might be a little bit uncomfortable. It might not feel good all the time, but we're learning and we're growing, and it's a journey. So that's why it's called the development journey. And guess what? Only 2% of the population actually volunteers to do this work. That's okay, Amory. Thank you so much for your message. So only 2%, studies show only 2% of the population actually does this work, this self-reflection, this dissection. Because what we do, we're an instant gratification type of society now. We are, moving at the speed of light, of scrolling Instagram and all the things on the internet. Our attention spans are at like 4 seconds now. Last year it was at 7 seconds. Now it's like 2 to 3 seconds. All right. So we want instant gratification and we want to hurry up, rub some dirt on it. For those of you who've been in the military, it's like, yeah, suck it up. Just suck it up. Just keep going. Rub some dirt on it. You're fine. Keep going, and compartmentalize your emotions and your dreams and desires. Right. And so often we're conditioned to just like quick move, right? And so sitting in these moments of uncomfortableness, of this pop, and I always say there's power in a pause of this reflection. It's uncomfortable. And that's why not a lot of people do it. And they don't continue the discipline of doing it. But if you're deliberate, you never know what's possible. If you're open for that icky feeling of like, oh, I don't know what's next, but I'm here for it. I always say, put your seatbelt on. It's a wild ride. And it really, truly has been. And I started my personal development journey officially 6 years ago when I started studying emotional intelligence. I thought it was so weird. I never felt like I fit in. I kept just coping in different ways and escaping and, putting up these walls of this confident, like successful person. And it didn't serve me. And when I started unpeeling these layers and recognizing how my brain and how my body works and my personality and starting to embrace my strengths and understanding how I show up in the world, this has been the magic of the personal development journey. And this is what I love to share with other people all over the world. So speaking of which, I know I shared about the retreat. I'd be remiss if I didn't share this experience. We do have spots open for the retreat in September. I just want to share with you, I didn't have time. I wanted to have Sandra on here, but I'm going to share this one if this is going to work. Let's see. Please move this away from me. If you're getting ready for closing day. No, that's not going to work. All right. So I'm not going to do that.
So I'm coming to you from Costa Rica, fresh from the Revival Retreat.
Okay. For some reason, I love technology. It says it's playing.
To try to explain a little bit about what this retreat is.
Really? All right. Sandra, do you want to come off mute real quick? I want to put you on the spot, but if you feel free to just share any reflections. This doesn't seem to be working. It's giving me this spinning wheel.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
So what was your experience and your biggest takeaway from the retreat?
So with the retreat, wow. It seems like it was so long ago, but it really wasn't. Only a couple of weeks ago. But the biggest thing was that everything I think was just organized and timed just right. So all of the, deloading everything that was holding us back, holding us down, and working through that in a process, but not like dumping it all at once, like little breaks. We're going to do this right now and get through this, and then we're going to move on and have some time to process that. Okay, now let's go on and take that to the next process and the next level, sort of like how you're walking us through this vision board workshop. So it was set up over the course of 6 days with that. So you had the fun, the fitness, everything. Like, I just think everything was planned perfect, like just the way it was with the fitness and like I said, the downtime, the hot springs, the dinners. Conversations weren't just around the issues that we talked about. It was just us just hanging out, but feeling like we knew each other on such a much deeper level because of what we were sharing. And immediately upon getting there, I think we almost pretty much dove into our first session. And I I felt like, okay, all my besties are here. I've never met anyone else before, but I just knew that it was a safe place. It felt safe, and I felt welcomed and a part of the whole team and the whole sisterhood like immediately. And it was just amazing. It was just awesome. I just loved every single minute of it. And I walked off that plane when I finally got home feeling so much lighter and with a vision for a purpose that I'm looking for, but at least have a way to get there than the me that walked onto the plane to leave being like, I don't think this is going to work, but okay, I'll be in Costa Rica and I get to spend some time there. So that's just my say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but of course, technology, right?
Yeah.
And you're here and we just came off of it. So thank you for sharing your reflections. So if anybody is interested, please reach out. I'd be happy to share with you the link and any information and answer any questions you have. All right. So the last one, which typically we don't necessarily always want to talk about, is our finances. All right. So many times we kind of like, we're like, oh, like, I don't want to look. I don't want to know. Some people really take control of their finances. So if that's you, awesome. I'm also one of the ones that I'm like, I let my husband do a lot of that, finances for our work. But so on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you in this category? So in finances, what I have experienced, especially in transition from the military, I was active duty for 10 years, getting a paycheck every 1st and 15th of the month. And then I started my business and I got 0 paycheck. So I had to put a lot of trust and I had to do a lot of work around my finances and my money mindset. And so what I have found is that when I was stressing in finances, it bled into everything else, even my beautiful relationship with my husband, how wonderful it is. It impacted me. So this is why I include it in the pillar. So we're not going to share all of our, finances and our finance goals and all that, but this is a very personal thing for you. So I want you to think about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you in this category, in this area of your life? And what would your top desire be? And I know for us, we want to be completely free of credit card debt, right? Debt can be a good thing, right? I want to be financially free. So if you think about the word debt, sometimes it can be a good thing. It can be an investment in maybe your personal development, maybe in your business, maybe in this season of change, it's a temporary thing, right? So being financially free is a better perspective, in my opinion, rather than, I got to be debt free. When you say the word debt, it's like, whoa, it's heavy, right? But debt in real estate, in investments, it can be a really good thing. It can be a positive thing. So it's just helping you understand, what is your top desire for this area of your life? And are you in a season of change right now where you can give yourself some love and grace and space to maybe be in a season of like, all right, this isn't forever. However, what would our top desire, what would this look like for us in the next, whatever time frame that you designed, right? And then how would you feel? Maybe it's implementing a budget, or maybe it's maybe you haven't done any personal development and you're like, I need to invest more in that, right? So how can I do that? I know my fitness program is literally less than Starbucks and a cup of coffee every day. And some people are like, I can't afford your programs. And I'm like, well, if you go to Starbucks every day, we can start to reprioritize some of these things, right? Can you get a Keurig? What's one thing you can do to get you to just that much closer to that goal, right? Or maybe you have an envelope system where you're like, all right, I'm going to save $10 a week and put it in, into this envelope or into this separate bank account. So start to think about that. And I know my husband and I one of our goals is to be able to sponsor a family at Christmas, and to be financially free enough to be able to provide, because there have been times where we were completely broke. We had nothing. We couldn't even buy Christmas gifts because I was in a season of transition and we were trying to figure it out when I first started my business. It was scary. I didn't have a job for 6 months. We were completely broke. And it was and that's how I know how this bleeds into everything else. It bled into my career, bled into my relationships, bled into my fitness. I gained weight. I was depressed, right? So really taking action and taking control over this can be really freeing for you. So how can you take just one small action towards that thing? I know this one is always uncomfortable for people, so don't feel like you have to share, but start to recognize some of the emotions that are coming up around this. And if these are low vibration or low emotions that are coming up, or maybe some shame or guilt, really check in with yourself and just know that I'm here to support you and talk things through after this call. Please send me a message if you need support. But this awareness and this honesty where you're at right now in these emotions is the launching pad to the next level you. Okay. So beautiful thing is never perfect. I've shared with you some of my imperfect stories with you here tonight. This is my beautiful husband. This was in Vegas, actually, his first trip to Vegas. But one of the things, like, we used to be that perfect couple, kind of Barbie, and what we found is we're humans and we get to share what we like to call the messy middle and everything in between. It's not easy. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. But we do the best we can to be better than yesterday. And so it's not always about that perfectionism. And we've had to do a lot of work around releasing a lot of that perfectionism and that, like, having to have everything figured out. I met the man of my dreams, and he happens to be in the Army and he has to move all over the place. I am not in control. So I thought I had a perfect plan. Guess what? That's all gone. Right. And so now it's like, let's work for progress each and every day and be open for the opportunities. Because if we knew what tomorrow brought and we knew what was on the page for tomorrow, that'd be freaking boring. Like, if it was every single day knowing what tomorrow was going to bring, that'd be boring. And we don't like boring. So just go for progress, not perfection. Okay. So this is something to think about. And we did this in the beginning of 2023. So I want you to reflect again. What can you reduce? And we do some of this work in the retreat. So what can you reduce? How can you delegate? What can you release? So if you had a timeline of something that you needed to accomplish by June 1st or by May 1st, or you wanted to lose a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time, how can we give ourselves some grace and space to reorganize and reprioritize our things in our life? This is your time. Like, you signed up for this, right? So time to reflect and give yourself the time and space to be able to, like, all right, is this still a priority? If we haven't paid any attention to it, think about, is it still a priority? Or do we need to have a different relationship or a different network or a different mindset around what that looks like, what that goal looks like? So what can we revive? What did you start with the year with? Maybe in January? Did you start walking the dog, a couple times a day? Did you start, calling your parents more often, or maybe your grandparents, or that, long lost sister or cousin that you wanted to reach out to? Did we lose sight of that? Do we need to revive that again? And what timelines or what stringent rules can we relax? Now's your time. All right, here's all my information. If you need support in any area, if anything came up for you, or you're like, I need to talk things out. I loved hearing about any of the programs, the retreat, the fitness, the $1 Million Body Academy is coming up. There's a lot of options for us to work together after today. So the best and easiest thing, unless you're like, I want in for whatever that is, let's just hop on a call, or we can chat, text, video chat, FaceTime, whatever. All right, so what's next? We're going to bring this thing alive. So we've done the dirty work. We've done all the hard things. We've done an assessment. We've done some goal setting. We've kind of put ourselves in each pillar, in each bucket of our life. And there's 8 of them. So it's a lot. So we just went through a lot in the last little over an hour. All right. So now we have, in order for us to implement and sink it into our being, into our daily habits and into our routine, so that our brain can start to recharge and like train itself to be in the forefront of these feelings and emotions all the time, we need to make it come alive. So it's got to be somewhere where it's visible. All right. So whether it's on a notebook, whether it's on Pinterest, whether it's on a piece of paper, maybe it's just a 3x5 card that you tape to your dashboard, right? Something that is visible every single day. So it can be paper, pen, it can be pictures, whatever this is. Now it's your time to say like, okay, what is my masterpiece going to look like? And for me, it's still really messy on my refrigerator. I can barely read my own writing, but it's on there and we reflect and we look at it every single day. All right. So I didn't make it perfect on purpose. And it's been a challenge. Like every day I look at like the smear marks in some of the words. One of the things for our legacy and our reputation, we want to do volunteering with my stepdaughter when she's here, when we have her. So like implementing more volunteer work to show her how to volunteer and give back to others. So that part is like totally smeared. And I'm like, oh, I got to redo that whole section. So I'm releasing that. I took a trip to Hobby Lobby yesterday to get my supplies. Yay! Awesome. I can't wait to see it. So please share your masterpieces. If you feel free to share them with me, share them on social media. Please tag me if you're going to share on social media. Put it out to the world. You never know who will see that and say, hey, I can help you get there. Or how are you going to get there? And how can I hold you accountable? And they're going to ask you about it. If you're like, hey, I want to run my first 5K, or I want to run my first full marathon, or I want to be on stage or write my book or start that business or get that promotion. You put it out there, you put it on the page, and then you put it out into the universe. That's part of the success model. Show the world you can do it. You got to put it out there first. And then they're going to ask you. And that's going to help you breathe the momentum and the accountability that you need. So let's bring it alive however you want. It can be messy. It can be on a napkin. It can be whatever you desire. It's okay. But I want you to display it, whether it be on social media, on your phone, on your computer screen, on your laptop, make it a sticker, like a screensaver, whatever it is. I want you to look at it at least 2 times a day. And it matters psychologically. It matters where it's at. If it's too high, if it's like on the wall, like pretty frame, and it's like way up there, your brain is already saying, oh, it's unachievable. It's unachievable. Okay. So make sure it comes to like an eye level if you're going to put it somewhere. So I put it on my fridge at eye level. Okay. And if it's too low, if it's in a desk drawer or if it's hidden, check in with yourself. Is it a priority? And if it's always somewhere where you have to do extra work to look at it, I want you to bring it out into the light. And if there's things on there that you're afraid for other people to see, I showed you mine. If you're afraid for other people to see, that's a place to check in. And maybe there's some conversations or some boundaries that need to be put in place in your household or the people that are seeing your stuff. So just something to think about and consider. All right. So we want to tell our brain, hey, remember you dreamed this, you had this intuition, you wanted to go after this. So we have to train our brain to say, remember, remember, remember. And it's like a muscle, just like when you go to the gym, when you first start, it's going to be a little sticky a little bit. All right. But when we train our brain, it like this momentum breeds the results. This has been the magic, how I've been able to accomplish all the things. And everyone wants my secrets. So I'm giving you all the secrets. So this has been my method. So take it, make it your own, design it. You get to design the life that you desire. So remember, the inner critic is going to come in. Remember, you are in control. You have the pen. You get to design it. Okay. And then you might not have it all figured out, right? So we have the first step. We determine the first step in each of these areas, hopefully. After that, we don't have to have the whole playbook, and that's okay. But when we take that first step, you never know what that next step is going to present you with. Right? Me in Vegas, that conference that I was going to, that luncheon, it was a free lunch. I was going to talk business. I was going to network. I went in there just taking action to like get out of the hotel room and do something different. And it created a whole series of other action steps that I never could have imagined. Right? So if I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and have it all figured out, then I probably would have closed doors to other opportunities. So receive your action steps as they come. And that's part of the journey, the personal development journey. All right. And don't forget to document and celebrate. For those of you who have been in my classes before, you know my definition of celebration. If you haven't heard it before, or my definition of bragging. Because when we celebrate, then we're going to get other people on social media and be like, oh, there she is again celebrating. Oh, there she is bragging again. There she is, another award. There she is, another business. There she is, another trip. There she is on vacation again. The definition of bragging is celebrating yourself and putting someone else down in the same sentence. So if you're not doing that, keep on celebrating the heck out of yourself, because the world needs you going after your dreams and goals, doing the dang thing and showing others what's possible. So it's your leadership. It's you celebrating yourself. It's you showing up, especially around your children, especially around your spouses, even if they don't get it, even if you don't think they're going to understand. Guess what? They're not going to understand. It's your dream. It's your goal. So it's not up to them to fully understand, but they're not going to get it unless you keep showing up, right? And you keep celebrating, you keep sinking in this movement and this motivation and this momentum. I'll tell you, my husband didn't get my business when I first started. My family members still don't get my business. They're like, well, how's your little coaching business and you traveling around the world and how's that going? Like, they have no idea, right? And they still send me job applications and like opportunities. And God love them. But it's not up to them to fully understand, because it's my dream. It's not theirs. It's placed on my heart by God, not theirs. Right? And so not everyone's going to get it, and that's okay. But that's where a supportive community and a great network and accountability and connections like these, this is magic. And this is where the momentum happens. So loving yourself isn't vanity, it's your sanity, right? Because the second we suppress these dreams and goals, the second that we cover up the parts of us that need to be coming alive, the more we die inside every single day. So let's bring them out. Let's get in community. Let's have a conversation and keep going after it. Okay. So every day starts a new page of your book. I know some of us are writing some books. I've already created my second one. It hasn't gone to publish yet. So that's happening this year. So you'll see my men's version of the planner coming out in the next couple months, and then it'll probably be in the fall. And then I'm actually co-authoring a book for military spouses. So that's going to be coming out in May of next year. And so I'm collaborating with a bunch of other people, and I'm going to be going on a book tour. Like, I did a virtual book launch for my first planner. I never thought I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I was popular enough. I didn't think I had enough followers to be on a book tour. And they're already booking my book tour for next year. Like, right? And it's just a matter of getting in community. And maybe you don't want to write a book, but document your success, because you never know. You never know if someday it's going to be on your heart to be like, you know what? I think I want to publish something, or I think I want to help someone. And because you've been able to capture and document your success and the things that you've been able to achieve in every step of the way, you have a toolkit. How do you think I created this vision board? Like, I created a toolkit, and here I am sharing it with you. And this is the magic. All right. So that is it for now. Remember, universe likes speed. Do not delay. Do not second guess yourself. Do not doubt yourself. When the opportunity is there, when the impulse is there, when the intuitive nudge is there, you just need to act. That is your only job. That's all you have to do, is just act. So maybe that small action is just www.google.com. So, or go to my website, send me a message, I put my personal number here, send me a text message. I think all of you have my number. That QR code downloads all of my contact information, my website, the ways to contact me, my email address, everything right to your phone. So if you don't have me saved, definitely do that. Especially if you're catching this on replay and I haven't met you yet. Thank you so much for being here. Please send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to connect with you. If you're catching this on replay, send me a message. I'd love to know when you actually watch this. I can't talk. So with that being said, we have our masterpiece. We have kind of done an assessment in each 8 pillars of our life and all of our buckets. Start to think about which areas were maybe you scored the lowest. And with no blame or shame, start to look at them and then think about where can you start? Because typically the one that you scored the lowest is seeping into everything else. So maybe it's your health and fitness, maybe it's your finances, maybe it's your spirituality. Thank you, Tammy. Tammy dropped her phone number in the chat. 8675309. No. So that was on one of our signs this weekend. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, that's where it came from. So we did the assessment. Start to think about where your lowest categories, your lowest areas were, and that can be a good start to gain more momentum that might improve other areas of your life as well. Okay. So that's just somewhere to start. And I would say like prioritize maybe 1, 2, or 3 things that you can do in the next 30 days. Like take those small action steps and start to take some action in the next 30 days. Okay. So that it's, just tackle 1 or 2 at a time. And then, maybe have a focus for the week. If you don't have the Crystal Clear Life Planner, we have a goal that we're focusing on for each week. So we start each week with intention. And then we start each day with intention of like, which goal are we going to focus on today? All right. So and that helps us with our priorities and it helps us move forward. So thank you, Sandra. Cheryl dropped her number in there too. So feel free to connect with each other. So I'm going to open it up. What comments, concerns, questions? Do you need me to go back? What is happening? I'm going to stop sharing. Of course, this is a great song too by Andra Day. So this is what I use every day to reflect and journal. It's a great song of resilience. It's Rise Up by Andra Day. For anybody who wants that. It's a beautiful song. All right. I'm not going to play the whole song, but I'd love to hear from you. What comments or questions do you have? Cheryl says, thank you, Sandra, for sharing your retreat experience. Awesome.
This was great, Crystal. Thank you. This couldn't have come at a better time, too. I'm so excited.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. How's she doing? Amory just had a little baby girl.
She's really good.
Yeah.
She's a sleepy girl right now, but she's been listening to the entire thing. So she's going to work on her vision board, too. Her big goals are rolling and crawling.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect. I love it. And Tammy, where are you still in Washington?
We're in Utah right now, headed downtown to Moab.
Okay.
But then going to Washington.
Okay. Definitely connect with Amory because she's in Washington State now too. She was originally, I met her in Buffalo in Niagara Falls at the air base out there. We used to work out together.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tammy, do you have any reflections or questions?
I just remembered how much I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm here for you. Cheryl, do you have any reflections or questions?
Oh, no, thank you so much. I appreciate, I was so happy that I was able to join you. I know it was like really last minute for
It's okay.
me, but no, this is great. I took a lot of notes.
Good, good.
Yeah,
I know it
I
can be
feel help.
overwhelming. It can be a lot. Go ahead.
Right. No, this is great. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So great to see you here and have you here. Please let me know. Just send me a message if you want to talk after this. We can always hop on a call and help you sort it out. Because I know if you haven't been through this experience, it can be a lot, right? So, but I just appreciate all of you ladies for being here. Sandra, do you have any reflections or questions?
No, I just looked at, I think I made my last one in Canva. So I just pulled that up and I had one for 2021. Of course, some things I succeeded at and some things I didn't, and some things have changed. But I didn't have any for 2022. So, I mean, hey, that could explain a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and update and revamp that for 2023.
Awesome. Yay. And so when you create your masterpieces, if you want to share it, send it to me. I can always create a group chat with all of us in here too. So I have all of your numbers, so I can connect us all in a group chat and we can help hold each other accountable. So if you want to be included in that, please send me a message. I'd be happy to facilitate that. Yay.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. All right, well, I will stay on for a couple minutes. I'm going to end this recording. If you're catching this on replay, make sure you send me a message and I'd love to connect and cheer you on, and let's finish this whole year out right. And I can't wait to celebrate you when you achieve all the things. So go be great, because the world needs you at 100%. So go cruise beyond the limits.